it's in a different perspective, a way that's helped me love myself and the way that I found works best for me personally. This is just kind of like two concepts a little bit, and there's many episodes where I talk about not many episodes, but many times I talk about beliefs and, your inner world controlling your outer world. And so I'm not going to go from the perspective of reprogramming your subconscious mind, because let me just say that right now that, one way to love yourself is to reprogram your subconscious mind by repetition of affirmations or visualization techniques. You start to reprogram your subconscious mind for new beliefs of loving yourself, because all loving yourself is a program in your mind, as well as not liking yourself. It has nothing to do with physical looks. So, for an example, in the movie I Feel Pretty, I watched it so long ago, so I don't really remember exactly, the whole gist of the movie, but I'm pretty sure it was about Amy Schumer went on a self-love journey, and she became, at first she was very insecure, and then she became very confident. And in one scene in particular, Amy Radikowski, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, she was in the locker room with Amy. They just got done with this biking class, and Emily was crying or just very upset, Emily was crying, and Amy was like, "What's wrong?" or something, and Emily said, "My boyfriend broke up with me," and Amy was like, "Oh my gosh, why? You're so pretty." And I think if I remember correctly, Emily got so resentful a little bit, because she still had a lot of insecurities and was like, "That's all people notice," etc. But she struggled with insecurity as well as Amy, and Amy didn't understand it because Emily was so pretty. So the whole point is, loving yourself does not come down to looks, although if you like the way you look, there's two different types of love. There's a surface level love, and then a very deep love, a love for who you are, what you value, the inner world love. Or you can just love the looks, but looks don't always last. What really lasts is the inner world, and the inner world is so complex, and that is the goal of what we should love. We should love ourselves deeply, and I'm just saying that the physical is just a program of what you think love is. You can, go on this whole journey of making yourself look better physically, but then you will find that the void of self-love is still there, that needs to be filled, because it's not a physical thing, it's a void within us that we need to fill by doing the inner work. So I wanted to make the point that it's not about looks. And second point is, energy is always changing and fluctuating, which means someday in the self-love journey, some days you are going to, get hard on yourself, feel frustrated with yourself, not feel so confident, have down days. Some days you might feel very confident and love yourself. One day it might feel like, oh, I feel good in who I am. The next it might be like, oh, never mind. Energy always changing, okay? But the goal is not to have this surface level, like I said, it's to have this underlying tone of, I love who I am deeply, although my thoughts some days can be like, oh, you look bad, I'm very frustrated at myself, mad at myself, etc. Yeah, thoughts are thoughts, energy's always changing, but the deep underlying tone is the goal that we are aiming for, the thing that you can always come back to. And this is why I want to give you a different concept on how to love yourself. So let's get into it. The thing that did massive healing in one night for me was inner child work. Inner child work is this whole process of, connecting with your inner child, sending him or her love, and healing the inner child wounds. Inner child wounds stem back from childhood. That's why it's called inner child. And they stem back far, to memories that you might not even remember, or situations that that form certain beliefs about yourself. Let's say you have siblings and you didn't get a lot of attention, your other siblings did. You might feel left out or not worthy of love. Therefore, you look at yourself and you can't find that love because you didn't get it from a parent. And that can be, in many situations as an only child or parents that neglected you, but not even that. It can be in school, you got bullied, or in school someone said something to you. Let's say you got a bad grade on a test and you started identifying with certain things, certain beliefs, okay? So I talk a lot about beliefs in a bunch of episodes. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend watching my last episode 18, on how to know yourself, how to find yourself, because that really dives into getting to know yourself, when this is how to love yourself. And I think step number 1 is getting to know yourself. So go watch that. You can end watching here if you want to go and watch that and then watch this after, or just keep listening. But I give resources of episodes where I talk about beliefs, because that is a very, very important thing, because our subconscious mind controls the way that we see ourselves. But the subconscious mind is the past memories, the past programs, things that happened in the past, parents, friends, siblings, teachers, situations where you didn't feel worthy of love or where you didn't feel enough. So where I'm coming at with how to love yourself is, I think the most life-changing thing for me in this journey has been inner child work. Self-love related to inner child work. I remember one night, I was just being very hard on myself for days and days, whatever. I used to be more hard on myself than I am now. And I think it's because, I'm doing the desires that I have. I'm doing the things that I want. And I remember for the longest time, I wanted to start a YouTube channel and I didn't. So I would think I'm wasting time. I'm, beating myself up because I have this goal that I just did not commit to. And now that I am committed to it, I respect myself more because I'm following through with my inner heart's desires. So that's one way, follow your desires, follow your dreams, listen to yourself. And that's a whole part in getting to know yourself, so go watch that. But inner child compassion all stems from this idea that you are not just this one self, as in, how old are you? Okay, you may be, I'm just gonna say now, I'll say mine, age 22, okay? So I'm 22. I'm an adult. But there is something that lives within each and every single one of us, and that is our inner child. Our inner child is here and always present during this lifetime. You will notice that as people get older, they start to repress the inner child. They get serious. They take life in this mature, analytical way, when the goal in my mind is to become more playful. Resort back to your inner child. Do the things that your inner child would want. Find that inner child because it is still there. It comes out in little moments and people. It's really cute. I tend to really see the inner, because of this inner child work that I've been doing, I see the inner child in people often, very often, and it's really cute. It's so pure. But anyway, so this idea that you are not just this one person, this adult, this teenager, this age, but your inner child is there beside you, within you. And how would you feel as a child if you talked? Let's say you're a parent. How would you feel if you talked to a child in ways that you talk to yourself right now? Let's say, for example, you compare yourself to other people. Let's say you talk to a child and be like, you know what? Your friend is so much better than you at this. They're succeeding so much more. They're doing so much better. You might as well give up because you're not good enough. You're just horrible. How would that child feel? The amount of negative beliefs it would install in them, first of all, but they would probably get saying these things to yourself when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, wow, you look really bad, you look ugly, this person looks so much better. When you are saying that to yourself, you are saying that to the little girl within you, to the little boy within you, to the little child that is hurt, that is repressed, that is getting bullied. There's not one part of you, because if there was one part of you, you wouldn't feel the emotions and the pain after the thoughts of, wow, I'm so horrible. There is a cause and there's an effect. You are beating yourself up, therefore you are bullying the self, and then you are feeling the emotions, therefore there's two playing fields within yourself. The one that is that inner roommate, that ego, that rude voice in your head saying these things to you, that negative program that society has installed within you, but that you have accepted to be true. There's that voice. And there is the result of feeling sorry for yourself, feeling hurt, feeling the pain, feeling the lack of self-love, feeling the effect of what you tell yourself. There is the analytical adult mind saying, man up, don't be such a crybaby, life isn't, there's that analytical mind that represses the feelings, that represses the emotions, that, is so hard on yourself. And then there is the result of the inner child getting pushed away, getting repressed, getting silenced. We have the thought and then the awareness of the thought, the byproduct, the emotion. So your thoughts are not you. Okay, I've talked about it in many episodes. Like I said, my last episode, in the description I say resources of, overthinking and ego, but you can just go to the podcast playlist and find episodes there where I do talk about these things. But we have the self that is bullying yourself, and the awareness of the thoughts and the hardness that you create on yourself. There's two people at play, and I just want you to take a moment and shut your eyes. Shut your eyes, shut your eyes, shut your eyes, okay? I want you to visualize your inner child, your younger self, at whatever age you thought you were cute. Whatever age, it doesn't matter. Between the ages 0 to maybe 10. 0 to 10. Go back and visualize yourself standing right in front of you right now and looking up at you. I want you to apologize to them. I'm sorry. And I want you to say, please forgive me. Tell them thank you. And say, I love you. That's the Ho'oponopono. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that's the Ho'oponopono rule. Tell yourself that you are sorry. Tell your inner child, that younger self of yours that is staring up at you, tears falling out of their eyes, and tell them, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, and give them a big hug. Tell them that I will be the parent that you haven't had. I will be the love that you haven't had. I will be the nurturer that you haven't had, and I will take care of you from here on out. Give them a hug. Give yourself a hug right now. Just wrap your arms around yourself, and I want you to really feel the pain that you've caused yourself by saying all of these thoughts. The pain that you've caused your inner child by telling her or him that he's ugly, that she's dumb, that she's not capable, that he's not worthy, that, everything that you tell yourself that you are not, everything that you tell yourself that you are. I want you to feel the pain that you are causing yourself, okay? And I want you to feel the pain that you are causing that inner child. face your inner child. And I know you might beat yourself up, and you might hate yourself, you might not be proud of yourself, but everything you say to yourself, you are saying to that inner child. And I want you to become and commit to being the parent to that inner child. Tell your inner child, from here on out, I will nurture you. From here on out, I will, even if it takes learning, I will learn to love you, because I do love you. You love that inner child, that innocence that you maybe once had. When you were younger, you didn't know about the world. And sadly, sometimes the world gets to us. It teaches us things that are not self-serving. It teaches us things that we take personally. We take on these personal beliefs about ourselves, and we have them throughout our lifetime, but they don't serve us anymore. You can't change yourself. You can only accept yourself. You can't change the fact that you are who you are. Your past is your past. You are this person, and you cannot change the person. Yes, you can, work on yourself and heal yourself, but physically you can't get out of this body. This is you. So you have to face this inner child and accept them to come closer to you. And tell your inner child to teach me the way. Teach me the way of the playfulness you once had. Teach me the way of when you did not care what people thought, when you loved yourself, when you were playful with life, when you flirted with life. Teach me that imagination again. And tell them once again that I am sorry for the pain that it caused. I will learn to be more kind to myself. I will learn to better myself. I will learn to embrace myself, and really just take a moment and hug your inner child once again. See their cute little face, their face of innocence. You didn't know what was ahead, but in every stage of life, you did the best that you could. You did the best that you could with the resources and what you knew at the time. There's nothing that could have changed. Everything that has happened in order for you to be this person you are right now, in order to continue to evolve into the person you want to be. And that is going to take a commitment to your inner child, because they love you. They really do. And they want to be more playful with you. Be that parent. Separate yourself into, you can open your eyes if they're shut. Separate yourself into the innocence, the little kid within you, the innocence of life, and don't pretend you know everything. I know sometimes we get so analytical that we think, I'm an adult, I'm mature, I'm this. The goal to life is to continue to carry this playfulness that we have long forgotten about. And I want to say one more thing, not one more thing, like two more things, but I want you to also take a moment to place your hand on your heart. You don't have to shut your eyes, but just put your hand on your heart right now. Understand that your heart is beating for you. Your heart is beating to keep you alive every day. Every day you wake up. And your heart is here as its own being. I want you to picture a little smile on that heart. That heart is beating as best as it can to keep you alive, to live another day. Another day where your cells are trying their hardest, your body's fighting, your heart's fighting, it's trying to keep you alive so that you can, create the life that you want. And it's working for you, but are you working against it? You're fighting with your body, you're fighting with who you are, you're resisting who you are when your body is fighting to be with you, to embrace you, and to accept you, and to love you. I think the whole goal to loving yourself is letting go of this resistance with yourself, this fighting battle that you have with yourself. I know, easier said than done. And this is why I'm just teaching you two concepts, because these concepts, if you really dive into it, it's very, very, very empowering. saying to it? What are you resisting? Why are you comparing? There's no way to escape you. And there comes a point where you have to learn to accept yourself. That is the first step in loving yourself. Acceptance, love, two different things. But we are motivated to accept ourselves by pain and pleasure. So the pain of what you're causing yourself, I want you to amp that up, which is what we just did, the pain you're causing your inner child. And work towards the pleasure of what it would be like if you just embraced who you are. If you embraced your dreams, embraced what you desire, and really just fight for that. Fight for your inner child's dreams, your passions, the things that bring you joy, and just keep living towards that. What would it be like if I loved myself? What would it be like if I just did everything that I wanted to? Without the fear of what people think, without the fear of failure, without the fear of comparing myself and others doing better. I want you to really take a moment and charge up that pleasure of what your life would look like if you just committed to yourself. And charge up the pain simultaneously now or later of being so sick of beating yourself up, being so sick of hurting your inner child. I picture myself when I'm sad. I get really sad, and it's weird because I really just feel my inner child crying. I'm wishing my life away. I'm wishing to be someone else. I'm wishing to, be more than I am, be more successful, be this, be that, while your inner child is there getting completely neglected because all your inner child wants is you to spend time with you. You to give to yourself, you to give that love to yourself that your inner child deeply craves. And the only person that can do that is you. You have to become a parent to yourself and treat yourself with respect and compassion, the way that you would treat other people, the way that you would treat someone you loved or a friend. You need to start treating yourself that way, or else your inner child is just gonna become further and further from you. It's easy, and it's no matter how far away your inner child is, it's easy to call him or her back, to bring them back, and just hug yourself and give yourself that love. And I know all of this is just very general concepts, but it's concepts that are very, very empowering, like I said. And I love the idea of pulling yourself out of this pain and charging up the pain to work towards the pleasure. Being so sick of hating yourself, being so sick of it that you've come to a breaking point. But the breaking point isn't being done with life. The breaking point is creating a new one by finally accepting and surrendering to who you are. And that's why, I think it's good to picture your inner child crying, because it's not it's very much real. Your inner wounds, these inner emotions, this inner child that forever lives within you is very much real. I know at first it can be hard to picture that you as two separate people. But as you practice it, you notice, oh, I want to give to myself. I will love myself. I'll be playful with myself. I won't compare myself, because would you compare a child to someone else? Would you compare a child to someone that's doing better? You know what that does to someone, and you're doing it to yourself. But you would never do it to a friend or a family member or someone you deeply love. But why do you do that to yourself, the one person you have to live with forever? We might as well create our temple to what we desire, because this is forever. This is what, forever in this lifetime. But this is what we are stuck with. So we might as well enhance it and learn to love it. So, number 1, which I just said, the concepts and everything of your heart being a separate entity, beating for you. What are you doing to it? Understand, to be alive is the greatest gift. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. Being alive is a gift because it's an opportunity every day. And I just like to personally picture all my cells as little faces, doing all this We are so intelligent. Our bodies, our mind, insane. We have insane intelligence, and it's like all working so you can be here, and we're just thinking about, oh, this person is this. So, your heart, everything. Accept it. Welcome it. Welcome the day. Welcome to yourself. And the concept of, not even a concept, but your inner child, having inner child compassion. Every time you say something to yourself, you picture your inner child frown. You picture your inner child tear up. Would you say this to a little kid? Would you say this to your own inner younger self? Because they are still very much there. And I want you to accept yourself. This is who you are. This is who you are. Okay, not the experience, not the thoughts, not the, circumstance. That's not who you are. This, yourself, the awareness of everything, that is who you are. The awareness of the thoughts, the awareness of the circumstance has nothing to do with you. But you are that deep, intelligent awareness, this wise awareness that is unexplainable. You are much more than your circumstance. You're much more than your body, your physical looks. You're much more than these thoughts, your past. You're much more. You are something completely different, and I want you to start accepting that within yourself. Okay, accepting it, and then respecting yourself. Respecting that inner child. Respecting yourself as if you were a friend, because you are two separate people. You are two. You are this ego that is very rude to yourself, that compares, that needs to be the best, needs to, etc., etc. You are that, but you're actually not that. You're the awareness of that. You have two parts of you, two moving parts. And become proud of yourself, not from an outside circumstance, not from an outside event that happens or the way you look, but become proud of yourself for this internal decision, this internal action to switch it up. Become proud of a decision to commit to yourself, to love yourself. Don't become proud you can't be proud of what you do and everything, because I think it's important to be proud of yourself, and that takes, having a desire. You want to start a YouTube channel, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to go to the gym, and you do it. You listen to that, and you don't let these ego thoughts overpower your discipline to commit to yourself. So I think it's really good to, work past these thoughts, because then you'll have respect for yourself, and when you have respect, you begin to, love yourself more. So just be proud of this internal decision and this internal action every day, to at least try to make an effort to get to know yourself and to love and accept yourself. And there's many other videos on how to love yourself. I just wanted to share these, my personal, it's not unique, I don't think, but it's like a different concept that I would say